Hi friends, welcome back to the farm. It is spring, summer is quickly approaching, and now is the time that we have a ton of projects going on. I love a good before and after picture, and so while we are kind of redoing a lot of garden beds and building some new things, I think it would be lovely to have a video just for the contrast of like how much something has changed. We are still new to this property. We've been here for 2.5 years, and already I feel like we've done a lot. When I look at pictures of when we first moved in, I forget that we had no pastures and that we had no fences. And so I love looking now and just saying, wow, we really have done a lot. It's difficult to grow when you're new at something, and so I like to have proof of all the hard work and that really we have done a lot in a 2.5 year span. So the first thing I want to do is show you, we've been working on fixing the deck. We call this the dance floor because we had this one piece of hair wants to live in my mouth. We had a hoedown out here a couple of years ago, and we had college students out from our town, and we had a live band, and we had cotton candy and coffee, and we had like a hayride. It was so sweet and so cute, and we built a dance floor for the purpose of square dancing because the band that we had was a string band, and we had a collar for it. Was so cute. But anyhow, we were in a hurry, and for the sake of time and for the sake of money, we did not put down like real planks. So we put down OSB, and after a year and a half, it was completely warped. It had like risen and shrunk and expanded in certain places, so that is gone, and we have put in a new dance floor. We're waiting for it to dry out so that we can stain it to match. And then of course I've got this garden bed over here. I'll give you a close-up of it, and we're doing a few things different this year around that garden bed. So let me turn the camera around and show you the first part of the property that we've done some spring cleaning to, and that we're also making some improvements. So my husband has gone to town putting in new floorboards, and he's not quite done. You'll see that we still got some construction stuff scattered around. He's got to even out these boards right here on this side, and then we are going to stain it, add some umbrellas, add some seating. It'll be ready for farm camp. And then as you can see right here in the garden, I have been pulling weeds, spraying for a few things that are very difficult to get the root of, and putting down mulch because that's killing. Before I spread all this out, I'm using the bags to kill the weeds that had popped up underneath. What I learned last year was that I just did not use enough mulch for weed control, but also one of our pigs had gotten out and really rearranged the mulch in here, which is so obnoxious, but that allowed for a lot of weeds to grow. And we've got some sad looking plants that are trying to come back. So we're going to be dressing this area up. Let me back up. Now I have proof of the before. It's going to look so beautiful in the after, especially when we get our Edison lights hung back up around it. There's the gathering place, and then right over here is the barn. We've begun landscaping around this. We have one landscape install that was kind of the bones of it. This year we're going to be expanding and adding a few more herbaceous perennials. They're going to go away for the winter, but then they'll make a return. I want this full. I would rather not do annuals here. I don't have this on irrigation, so annuals tend to need a lot of water. There's a few that don't, but since this is not irrigated, I don't want to fight a losing battle. I also know I'm going to forget. So right here on the side of this barn, we're going to be adding in some stuff just for color, just to keep it looking pretty. But let me show you what is in bloom right here in the front. Look at this lilac tree. This is a reblooming lilac, so it's going to bloom now, and then we will trim it back and enjoy these beautiful blooms inside, and then it will bloom again later on in the season. What I've been doing up to date is adding a ton of aged manure. This has no pine straw, no mulch right now, because I have been adding tons and tons of aged composted manure from the chickens, from the horses, and I'm letting the pig pen age a little bit more because you got to be really careful with composted pig manure. This area obviously needs to be weeded. Those are gladiolas coming in over there. And then after we weed, I'm going to be adding in some shrubs over here. This little hydrangea has never liked that spot. I'm probably going to relocate her. I think she needs more shade than she's getting now. Obviously she's in the shade now, but before this point she gets so much sun, and she's a mountain hydrangea. So this has got tons of lovely fertilizer in it. It needs to be planted, and then it needs to be mulched, probably with pine straw. And then obviously these need to be put in a stall. There's one area that we are working on, and then swing around to the other side of the barn. Got some more, got a hosta over here and another hydrangea. They look good now, but when that summer heat hits, they're sad. So all of them need to go to deep shade. The problem is we don't have that much shade on our property where the rodents don't live. I could plant things down by the creek, but we have tons of moles and voles. If you missed the video on our coop, let's go take a look at it. If you missed the video on our coop, we did a little renovation as well as an expansion. So now we've got 380 square feet. We can fit about 80 chickens in here. We've got our grow outs in here right now and our roosters. And so that was a big project that we had. Leaving the barn, let's talk about this next little spot that has a need for a huge redo. Let me turn the camera around. This area has been a bit of a head scratcher. This can be on irrigation. It's very difficult to get the hose over here. And right now we don't have plumbing that extends underground anywhere. So it's all hoses. We have a drip hose going throughout this bed. But I finally have come up with a plan for this whole fence area so that it's landscaped and maintained. You're seeing mountains of clay and maybe some darker material. This is all composted manure. This comes from the barn, from the horses, from the chickens. So it will be well fertilized for all the plants that are about to go in here. Let me tell you about them. So this line of fence is one of the first things that you see when you come down our driveway. There's the house, there's the barn. If the minis are in here, they're obviously where your eyes are gonna go because miniature horses are so cute and everybody loves them. So what I need is something that is low, perennial, doesn't mind dry conditions, and can handle like 1,200 hours of sun. So what I've come up with is a beautiful list of plants that are kind of all purple. And so, because we are Swifties on this farm, this area is going to be planted in what I'm calling the Lavender Haze. So we are getting a ton of lavender plants, and we're going to be peppering in some really beautiful green shrubs, some boxwoods, maybe some loropetalum because they also are purplish. But so far, our list includes like nepeta and Russian sage and coneflowers, alyssum, some other purpley coneflowers, of course. Most of what's going in here, once it's established, can really stay in drought conditions, which is ideal because if I can plant perennials that require very little maintenance and very little water, then I'm saving myself time. I'm also saving money on irrigating the whole thing. And lavender, I mean, it's one of the best flowers out there. So that's the plans for this area, and that's going to be happening soon. Hopefully it's our video coming up next week, which means I have a lot of work to do. I've got to continue prepping that ground. I might even expand that fence line a little bit so that I have a deeper garden bed, if that makes sense. Okay, now we're at the pool. Bear with me, y'all. I think it's so ugly. Let me turn the camera around and tell you our plans for the pool. As you can see here, we've got the most gorgeous above ground pool over here. Let me tell y'all, I got this thing off of Facebook Marketplace for a song. We just had to disassemble it. I say we like I had anything to do with it. No, it was my husband that went and took care of the whole thing. We had to disassemble it, bring it to our property. Our neighbor, you've heard us talk about how much we love our neighbors. We have the best neighbors. They've taken us in like family. He has a tractor and he came and leveled this out because everything's on a slope here. And then we added this, obviously it needs a filtration system. This is a saltwater filtration tank. So I don't like chlorine. Chlorine does not like me. So my husband converted the entire thing to saltwater just for me. Isn't he amazing? But one thing that this needs is a deck. Normally, if it was just our family, I think we would just live with it this way. But farm camp, a lot of people just want to sit around a pool with their feet in. And you can't do this on those, even though there's a really strong pipes holding this thing up, it's not strong enough. And obviously that would be so uncomfortable. So let me show you. So it's going to be an L-shaped deck. Obviously we'll have railings on it. And then on this side over here, we will have the entrance into the pool. But coming out of the pool, I really want a slide. I think that would be so fun because stairs are boring and kids love slides. As you can see, the pool is already shaded. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which makes this ideal because this is such a hot part of the day. It's also going to protect me and the kids from a bunch of harmful UV rays. Sunburns are no fun. They are scary. And if you have a history of cancer in your family, you would also be cautious like I am. So this location was chosen for that exact reason. And this is gonna be a beautiful place to splash and play, and also to sit around, have some snacks. Can't wait to show you guys the deck coming up soon. Now, if we swing around, I'm gonna show you some other plans we have from this vantage point looking out here. Hi, baby. What are you doing? Sweet girl. Over here, excuse the boxes up there, those are some tables and chairs that we are going to assemble for the gathering place. That is kind of their home with all the bikes and whatnot that the kids leave out. But we've got a plan for this area, especially for summer camp, but also just for hanging out in the summer and keeping kids out of the sun. I love this spot on our driveway, but its major downfall is that it is full sun all the time, except for briefly in the morning. But as soon as that sun starts to come over at 9 or 10, it's really, really hot. The pavement is hot on your feet, but it is the most fun place to play, because especially if you love playing with chalk or doing any kind of arts and crafts outside, this is ideal. It's flat, it's wide open. I mean, you could have 30 kids over here and they're not really in each other's way unless they're playing a game. So we are going to be putting up huge sun sails, those big sails that can go like from post to post. Instead of big umbrellas, those tend to get really whipped away in the wind. This is a windy spot. We deal with the wind breaking our trees all the time. So if you have a recommendation for some kind of shade, the sails that can go over here, please, 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 will you comment or link in the comments below so that we can like get started with the shopping process? There's so many options and I'm so overwhelmed. Up from that area near the basketball court, we're gonna have a gaga ball pit right here. If you don't know what gaga ball is, please Google it. It is the most wild and yet contained sport with kids. It needs like a rubber mat underneath if they're barefoot, but it is so fun and it's really, really fun to watch. So come over here. I want to show you our plans for the other side of this pecan tree right here. Now over here, this is a wide open space. There's a meadow that we're trying to restore. We had previously pastured this in for the horses, but then we took that fence down because we were just struggling keeping them out of the creek safely. So we have to rethink that. But right here, do you see this big, beautiful frame? What would you call that? We are going to be hanging a wooden swing from that, so it's a nice relaxing spot. Our camp counselors can sit there and watch. I can come out here on the evenings. There will be a fire pit in front of it, not for camp, but just for fun. And then obviously these pallets need to be burned or they need to be used somewhere. I don't know how great the quality of wood is anymore. But in front of this area, right here, we are having a massive delivery of sand. So we're going to get some enormous telephone poles. We're going to lay them in a rectangle and fill it with sand. I really want to put like an old bathtub or an old sink or something up that we can also fill with sand, because even the older kids, even me, adults, we love just sitting in the sand. This is such a shady spot. Imagine the cutest little sand pit, and we will cover it with a tarp, because if you have cats, you know what the struggle will be, and I don't feel like sifting out cat poop out of a giant litter box every day. So right here is going the sand pit. So excited about that. Now, okay, enough about farm camp. Let's go talk about gardens. Okay, so a lot of these preparations are for farm camp. If you know me, you know that it is my favorite part of the year. I live for farm camp. I just want July to be here like tomorrow, but I'm not ready for farm camp yet, so maybe I don't want it here tomorrow. But anyway, let's talk about a few of the gardens and the ideas that I have up to next to this house. It's messy. You guys like the before and after, right? Well, why? Always in my mouth. Look at this retaining wall. Isn't it begging for lime green vines to be hanging off of it? So look at this giant retaining wall and just imagine lime green vines coming all the way down it. My plans this year, last year I did a lot of begonias and they were so cute, but they were red and pink, and I really don't like red and pink together. I thought I would try it because maybe my tastes have changed. They have not. I did not like it. I'm not going to do it again. I will do pink begonias because they are precious. They don't need a lot of water, but spilling down off of this wall, I need some sweet potato vines. So I will have to irrigate those because they are some thirsty son of a guns. And as you can see, my preparation so far has been to spray the weeds. This is a very, very spiny looking dandelion. I'm tempted to think that these are milk thistle. I do let these grow in other parts of the property because they have a very high quality nectar for the butterflies and whatever else. But they can't grow right here. This is a butterfly bush. She's just a baby. And of course I've got a weed around it. So last year we had some different kinds of mulch laid down here. It was not very effective. I need to do something drastically different in this area. Oh, that wall is hot. So be looking out for the genius garden plans I come up with. So far it just includes begonias and sweet potato vines, which isn't bad. I'd love some perennials up here. I think a giant wall of lavender would just be perfection. Let me know if you guys have any ideas on this wall. And coming up on this little bed right here, eventually, Scott doesn't know this yet, but eventually I want this garden bed to run all the way right here so I don't have to mow this anymore. It's kind of it's a hassle to mow right here. It's a hassle to weed, but who cares? This right here is a Rose of Sharon. It is a light powdery blue one, mimicked right there by another Rose of Sharon. They are already leafing back out. They're in great condition. And right here I have a few begonias that are starting to come back. Now last year, what I did for mulch control was absolutely wonderful. I put pine shavings down and then I put pine straw on top. I should have put more pine straw down in the fall and I just didn't. Oh look, I got another baby begonia coming up right here. Aren't you sweet? So I did not know that my begonias were gonna come back. That's absolutely thrilling. There's about 12 in here that are coming back. So really, I may just leave it and let this be the begonia bed with the Rose of Sharons over here. We shall see. I love not watering it, and the begonias obviously have not been watered so far this year, and so they are quite happy. Let's walk around here. Oh, look at this sleeping kitty. Oh my goodness. What a sweet baby. I've got a Rose of Sharon right there. Back there is a clematis. Bright purple. She's beautiful. She blooms a lot in the summer, which kind of surprises me. I haven't known one to do that. Oh, look at that funny branch. I think I'm gonna trim that. But let's go look at the front porch. See what we're gonna do over here. Notice the giant layer of manure on top of this bed. Everything needs to be refreshed and revitalized with plenty of nutrients. And of course, plants are heavy eaters. They're gonna eat all the nutrients out of it. So we've got our leftover pansies. I did them kind of sparse. I'm not sure why I planted them this way. Next year I will fill it all in with pansies because I love the purple and the yellow together. Right here I have 2 limelights. I removed everything out of this garden bed when we moved in and I replaced it with limelights because over there those 3 shrubs are also limelight hydrangeas. So I want symmetry in a garden bed and that's what we decided to do. There is no winter interest over here and I don't know what to do about that. Right here I have 2 lavenders. These are phenomenal. That's the literal name, and they are quite phenomenal. They were evergreen all winter. They were beautiful, and they grew a lot their first year. So I've already ordered 20 more of these. That's going to be going over here in the Lavender Haze. I'm so excited about that. So those are going to be really pretty right there. I did not want another limelight right here simply because I felt like the height difference was going to be weird. So I leaned into the height difference instead of pretending it's not there. And then over here, I think I may add some cleome. Other than that, this is a really simple bed. It's got rose campion right now, right here, and in this pot, and then those 3 limelights, some purple heart right here, and then we've got our beautiful Japanese maple. So those are some of the things that we've got going on. Those are our goals. Those are some things that are already in progress. We've been fertilizing and weeding, getting ready for planting season. I try to plant after April 19th. I think we could have planted weeks ago and still be fine, but I have bought annuals before or vegetable plants and put them in the ground, and then we had a last minute freeze, and it's just such a financial loss. I don't mind planting them twice. I love getting my hands in the dirt, but really when you've got a budget, it just doesn't make sense to take a gamble for us. For us, it doesn't make sense. It might be fine, not fine for me. Now, in the future, we're talking a couple years in the future, we've got one really big plan, and I'm really excited about it. Over here, in this area, we have a big garden, and it is fenced in. It's like a 8 foot tall perimeter fence for the deer. Last year, we grew watermelons, green beans, corn, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, watermelons, pumpkins, everything. This year, because of that slope that's right there, you can't see it's on the other side. And I'm not going to show you because it's full of weeds and y'all are going to be mean to me. We are going to install an orchard. We love our fruit trees, and I was at Lowe's getting a part for our spigot, and I saw, of course I went to the garden center, and I saw that they had fig trees. They're like 6 feet tall, and they were $49. You better believe I called Scott and I was like, do you want one? He was like, no, I want 2. So I bought 2. And then he came to me and he was like, okay, hypothetically, if we invested in an orchard, where would we put it? And so we had a little beginner orchard right here. You can see our 2 peach trees, and then we had like 5 apple trees. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. We had like 5 apple trees going down along the side of the house. 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, oh my gosh, are dead. Now, we don't know exactly what caused that, but I'm pretty sure they were just absolutely decimated by deer. We would find entire branches broken off, and we know that the deer would come through here. So I said, if we do some fruit trees again, I really don't want to do them in deer lane. So let's not lose our investment. Let's go ahead and put them where we already have our deer fence up. So in the future, we're going to be putting in some fruit trees, some more peaches. We love our peaches, definitely apples and nectarines. Maybe we could do some citrus if we had a special setup to keep them warm if we went below freezing, which, I mean, we can definitely go below freezing. So give me some ideas. What do you guys think? If you were planting an orchard, what's some advice that you would give somebody if you yourself have one? That one apple tree that remains over there is Red Delicious, and I will eat that in a survival situation alone because there's no redeeming qualities about it except maybe it could keep you alive. So we're keeping it for the apocalypse, and that's the only thing we're doing. So anyhow, those are a few plans that's going on over here. Of course, we'll have all of our normal, our zinnias and our dahlias and our cut flower garden that we do every year. We'll have our watermelon patch, and just, you know, those fun things here and there. But those are our plans. We are going to stay very busy all spring and in the beginning of summer. So I hope this video finds you well. I hope you are all doing magnificently. Also, Scott said when we reach our next subscriber goal, which is 7,000 subscribers, I could ask him for something, and he's probably going to say yes. I'm going to be asking for a Highland cow, y'all. So if you want to support my dream, please share this video. Ask your friends to subscribe. That's all for today's video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.